Sasquatch Watch Radio, making my weekend video post. Hope everybody's had a good week and having a good weekend. Just wanted to pop on to let everybody know that this Monday night we will have Elisa Placaros on the show. She's an Ohio native. First met her, I think I first met her back in like 2015 at one of the Creature Weekend events at Salt Fork State Park in Ohio. Since then, I think she has written a book on the cryptids in Ohio. Or at least that's what I saw on the website. And I think she's had some type of encounters over there, Salt Fork State Park. So I figured, I haven't talked to her in, I guess it's been a decade, about 10 years, I guess. Hey Mick, I'm feeling a whole lot better, buddy. I feel like I could run a marathon right now. I don't wish that stuff on nobody. That stuff was horrible. I'm telling y'all, flu type B is not fun. Well, it might not have been so bad if I didn't have bronchial pneumonia along with it, but so I don't advise anybody trying it out. So, and also while I'm thinking about it, David Rosty, I believe, is the one that won the contest last week. So, David, I still need your mailing address so I can send you your prize. You can send that to, there you are. Man, you were on here ready, David. Good. Sasquatch Watch Radio at gmail.com. And I'll get that mailed out to you. I finally got Jeffy Smith's mailed out to him. And that was because Tennessee Cherokee gave me his address. So I got his mailed out the other day. So, but anyway, yeah, we'll have another contest this Monday night. Another prize. And, whatever Elisa has to say will be a surprise to all of us because I haven't talked to her in like 10 years. So it should be an interesting show. And as always, Gary's always a good interviewer anyway, so I'm sure he's ready. But it's good to see you guys on. Yeah, I know you demand a recount. All I know is David had the hottest fingers last Monday night. I'm sorry, David was just quicker than you were on the keyboard. That was probably because you were sitting in your birthday suit, sliding around on your chair. Who was this? Keith and Williams. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. So, as y'all can tell, it's kind of partly cloudy here today, about 70 degrees. Feels more like 80 to me. I guess the humidity's up. We've got all the blossoms you can see here. The blossoms are coming off the trees like crazy, which is probably why the pollen count's so high. So anyway, that's true, David. Mick was battling some raccoons, I guess, that were getting a little excited in his garage. I think Mick should have just went on out there and just give them a swift kick and see what they did. I did that to a possum one time. It wasn't a very good idea. They get a little mean. They like showing their teeth. But anyway, yeah, Salt Fork is an interesting place, Mick. I have to say that I agree with some people, though, that it has drawn so much attention that a lot of times you don't know if it's somebody else out there that you're hearing, or, I mean, that park gets a lot of foot traffic. You know, there's always somebody in the camping area, the picnic areas, and those are all the places where everybody go research. But that's the only bad thing about Salt Fork, is it's drawn so much attention over the years. So many people know about it and they go out there. So, I mean, it's a big park, but it just seems to be certain areas people choose to go and hang out and research. So, but yeah. So anyway, glad y'all tuned in for my little gig. I'll see you all on Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. And as always, I remind everybody, every time you click that like button and all that, it really helps. It helps our show to get seen more. You know, it does something to the algorithm, whatever that is. It's what people tell me. As you can tell, I'm kind of a amateur when it comes to that stuff. So whatever it is, they say it does something good. So, but yeah, the sun's out now. I swear it feels 80 out here. Quick question. Mick says, Billy, have you ever heard of reports from Adirondack State Park? Yes. Back when I was in NESRA, which stands for the Northeastern Sasquatch Research Association, we worked on some sightings up in that area. So we used to get reports from that. That's been that's been probably 15 years ago. Back when I was associated with them, I used to go up into New York a lot, in the Adirondacks and in and around Lake George. And then we found an area up there where we researched. It was we had to drive the vehicles up a snowmobile trail and cross a creek to get to the area where we camped at. And I'm telling you, that's primitive camping up there. There's some really rugged areas out there. And we had a really great time out there. But yeah, I have done a little bit of research up there. Hey, Brenda. All right. David says, did you get your website stuff sorted? That's a whole funny story, David. I'm glad you brought it up. So these guys have been running me in circles for probably close to a year. And they come up with excuse after excuse about how they didn't design my website to be ADA compliant. Which I explained to them. I was like, well, when I hired you to build a website, why in the world didn't you build it that way to begin with? You knew the ADA compliance was an issue since the 80s. So anyway, I put in a Better Business Bureau complaint against the company, and about 3 days later, like some miracle happened. It was funny. He sent me an email, and he goes, oh, we were able to work something out, and this is because I was demanding a refund through the Better Business Bureau. He goes, we were able to work something out, and we got your website up and running. Everything should be good now. And I'm like, well, what happened to all this ADA compliance stuff? Oh, we just made some minor changes. Minor changes that you were going to charge me $1,500 for. And it took you, probably a couple minutes. So anyway, they're trying to avoid, he won't even answer the complaint because they're not even accredited by the Better Business Bureau. I already checked them. They got an F+. That tells you a lot right there. So I wrote a message back to him. I emailed him back and I said, I'll tell you what. I said, how about you go ahead and respond to the Better Business Bureau complaint? I'd like to see your response as a company to that complaint. And I haven't heard nothing from him since. All I know is they turned the website back on and it's working. So they're just trying to avoid that situation, basically. So it is a gimmick. And I told the guy, I said, look, I said, within the first 3 months of promises that you made, I knew something was fishy at that point, but it was too late. I'd already give you a bunch of money. And I told him, I said, as far as I'm concerned, you're just building websites and then turn around and trying to charge people for this and that just to continue making money. He's like, oh no, I'm a professional, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So, well, you answered a complaint. And of course he hasn't. And I don't expect he will. I don't expect to see my money back. But the website's working. I already told him, I said, I already created another website that I didn't have to deal with that on. And so basically I got 2 websites. But it's whatever. Oh, what we got over here? Oh, there he goes. I heard him over there scurrying. But, so yeah, it's a gimmick. I agree with you. I'll learn, again, it's a learning situation where, and I knew this, it's my fault. I knew not to trust anything that gets advertised on Facebook. That's just, most of that stuff is all a bunch of gimmick. It's like that's like that link. Click this link. You want a free iPad? Sure. I'll click that. So, but yep, that's it. It is a headache. Time stress. Yep. Lost time. Yep. But anyway, Mick, I don't know how anyone can prey on customers. I feel bad for the older people. They really take advantage of the elderly people. Friend of mine just last week, he's had this iPhone SE. It's one of the first editions, so the thing was old. It was time to replace it, but somebody had sent, that's the reason I brought up the iPad a while ago. Somebody sent him a link saying, oh, you want a free iPad? Click the link and confirm your information and all that. And as soon as he clicked it, I think he said within a few hours, all of a sudden it was like his phone was dead, like it shut down. So he took his phone up to AT&T, and the first thing they did, of course, was they wasn't even going to try to fix it. They were like, hey, you need a new phone. Well, don't get me wrong, he did, but so they sold him one of them, I think it's the i15. And then he was like, now how are we going to transfer the info? And they looked at him and said, we can't do it. I mean, that automatically told me that they knew something was wrong, something had happened, it got hacked or whatever, which is unusual for an iPhone, but I guess there's a few out there that know how to do it. So anyway, they told him about this guy in town. That's what his specialty is. He took it to the guy. The guy looked at it and he says, normally I could have this done in an hour, but yours is going to take us a little bit longer. He says, so come back tomorrow. So it took him the whole day and then part of the next day. But he finally was able to get in there and get him all of his phone numbers and all that. So, yeah, I tell you, these people, they prey on the elderly people. And again, I guess I can go ahead and call myself elderly because I fell for the whole website thing, so I can't talk. When them, too good to be true things that they put up in them ads. Oh, it's only going to cost you this much, and then, a few $1,000s later. But that's how it is. Mick says, I got scam calls from India Oh, I get them all the time, all the time. And they'll anything from some of the latest ones I've had is they'll either call, email you, or text you saying that you owe some highway tolls. That's the latest gimmick. They try to claim that you went through a toll and you didn't pay, and you're gonna have fines, and then if you don't pay it, they're gonna revoke your license and all kinds of stuff. I said, well, good, revoke it, because I know there's just a scam. You said for a whole week last year, getting 50. Yeah, I finally started. Well, some of them are local. Some of the scam calls that we get. So what I do, if it's a local call and it's some kind of sales or gimmick, I put them in my block list. The only problem with that is I know a lot of times those numbers, they can clone those numbers. So somebody could use my phone number and call somebody. It shows up as my number, but they did it through I forget, there's an app or something that they can just put in whatever phone number and make people think that you're local or somebody you know. So that's the only problem with blocking those numbers, because you could actually block somebody's number that you might want to talk to. So I guess you got to be careful these days. So David says you get 3 a day. Yeah, I do the same thing. I report them as spam. I especially do it on my work phone, because nobody has my work phone except for people that I'm dealing with case-wise. So if I get a strange call there, I know for a fact it's a scam. But we have at the state of Virginia, we got a really good spam reporting thing, and once I report them, I never get them again. So it's always something new that they try. So yeah, I get the toll text too on the state phone. I'm like, yeah, right, dude. They won't even pay for our tolls. The state of Virginia owns Easy Pass, and they won't even give us one. So I know better. But it's crazy. Yeah, people always scamming. They got too much time on their hands. Obviously, they don't have a job. So that's their job, is scamming, and probably make better money than all of us doing it, to be honest. We have, I don't know if you guys have this up in Canada, Mick, but around here we got homeless people, or they appear to be homeless people holding signs. And they've busted a few of them, because what they'll do is they'll stand out there and they'll have a sign for, need food, or I have a family, blah, 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 I need money. And then people have actually sat and watched and videoed these guys. They'll be out there begging for money, get the money, and then walk over into another parking lot and get into a Mercedes or a BMW and drive off. You can't trust people anymore. And they prey on that, because they know a lot of people want to help others. But the problem is you don't know if you're truly helping somebody that needs help or somebody's scamming you. So it's just sad. Government funded. Oh man, Mick. We don't even have, there's a few homeless shelters, but there definitely ain't enough for as many as claiming as being homeless, that's for sure. I guess we're, in the U.S., we're kind of slacking, I guess, on that. But again, it's the ones that are dishonest that hurts the ones that are honest, if you know what I mean. I know there's people out there that, some of them can't get jobs, if they have a lot of felonies or whatever, and they're just trying to make ends meet, got kids, and I feel bad for them. But again, you don't know if they're serious or if they're hoaxing it or whatever. So it's kind of hard to know who to trust anymore. They do that in Toronto. Shaky Lady Toronto, that was a classic. Yeah, we got a lot of shady stuff here. Here lately we got a volunteer fire department right here in the neighborhood. This has happened as of late. And the county is trying to take it over and make it a county funded type thing. Now, people here are mad because if they do that, then apparently the fire department rescue squad that's right here in the community wouldn't be who would come and help us if something happened. They would bring them from a whole nother town, which is stupid. I mean, you got a fire and rescue place right in your neighborhood. Don't it make sense that they'd be the closest? They'd come and help you. This doesn't make sense. It's crazy stuff going on. David said the homeless and squeegee window washers. That's one thing we don't have. I've seen that in videos. I guess a lot of that happens in California and New York and areas like that. We don't have that here. Yeah, they don't want to do nothing here except get money. So, YouTuber filmed one walk across the street and yep. That's what I say. People, that's one of the reasons people don't give them anything anymore, because it's just, you don't know if they're real or fake. So, yeah, it's just crazy world we live in. Mick says there was a guy who would beg for money in front of Union Station in Toronto, who would get into a cab at the end of each day with paper bags filled with money. He would vacation in Florida for months. No, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't doubt it one bit. I had a guy, I can't remember where I was at. I was over in Manassas somewhere. Somebody told me that some of those guys make more money than any of us and live quite well. So obviously there's still a lot of people that give money out to them people. So it's just a shame for those that really need it. You know, because they're just, you know, it's kind of, you know, there's always an argument. They kind of, even though I live over here in the valley, we're still sort of considered the Northern Virginia area, and then one of the big complaints around here is people always complain about those that are here illegally, you know, are taking all the jobs. Well, I guess the homeless probably feel the same way. The ones that are truly homeless probably feel that all the fake ones are taking all their opportunities. But again, that's turned into a political issue, and that's something I don't get involved with. So me and politics is a big no-no. I don't even want to address it. So any hot spots in Virginia? Yes. There's an area in Spotsylvania County, in and around, there's a lake over there in Spotsylvania County, in parts of Louisa County, that's called Lake Anna. There's actually a nuclear plant on Lake Anna. And that area over there, a lot of the locals talk about having sightings and stuff all the time. We have a private landowner over there. She's got about 100 acres, and that's where we had our last two expeditions where we had about 4 or 5 different Bigfoot groups meet, and we did investigations, and we had not necessarily all Bigfoot activity, but just other strange stuff that I don't even like talking about, with lights and stuff, every single night. So there's always something going on that property. I haven't been back out there in it's probably been about 8 years. But we've been invited to come back whenever we want, so I probably will eventually go back out there and spend a little bit of time. She's got a nice piece of property. You can camp there, plenty of room. Now she's built her home there, but she's got like a big, almost like a picnic pavilion, like shelter place right there on the property. And she had a sighting, her and her husband and her granddaughter, they had a sighting there many years ago. Right where they built their house is where they had their sighting before they built the house. They had a creature that ran out of the woods, and she said it ran so fast and so smooth. She said it was like it was on skis, like it was just too smooth. And I've heard that so many times from witnesses, that these things, like they're on ice. You know, it's so smooth. Hear that all the time. Oh, it looks like it's gonna rain now. But let's see. Yeah, I actually can't get any more specific than that, Mick, because we've kept that property under wraps. We did, and and everything I do, I always run by the owner first. But she did allow, I believe it was CBS News, to come out. We actually met them not on the property. We met them off site and kind of talked about it, but I made sure, they called us, and I just ran it by them, and we talked about it a little bit. And this has been years ago. But definitely an interesting property, and anytime you want, when you want to do research and you want activity, that's just where you go. So, let's see. Do you ever see any tree break? All the time. Again, tree breaks I look at closely because, I know some of that stuff's weather related, especially here lately when we had that recent winter ice storm that we had up here. I mean, there's a lot of trees broken, so, it's kind of hard to judge some of that stuff. I have seen, tree twists. I've seen stick formations. Now, some of those stick formations, I tend to blow them off, especially if they're right next to a well-used trail or something like that, because I can't rule out human activity. But when you go off trail and you're tracking, a mile off any trail or any path or whatever, which I like to do, that's where I found my most elaborate stick structure. And it's in our intro video. Whenever you see that one that I'm standing next to, I was completely off trail, out in the middle of no path, nothing. Just out there by itself. Stuff like that I really take a closer look at. Haven't never seen any kind of feather gifts. So none of that. All right, here comes the Amazon guy. Amazon guys up here drive these Mercedes now. All right, let's see. But yeah, that's like I say, I don't get out and research like I used to. 8 years ago, 8+ years ago, I was out all the time. Traveled across the country, been to Washington, been to Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, New York, Vermont, Maine. I mean, we used to go all over the place. And of course, as I got older, I slowed down a little bit. Of course, my health wasn't that great either. That's why I go out and walk every day now, trying to get everything back in shape, And again, I've told y'all I already lost 40 pounds, so I'm ready. I've been hiking in Shenandoah National Park quite a bit, but I've just been on trail. I did go off trail last week a little bit, but again, I don't expect to find anything. I run across something, and that's exciting, but that's been quite a while since I've run across anything exciting. So, but all right, so I figure I've bored y'all for over a half an hour. All right, Mick says, any chance that Bruce will at least be a guest? I've tried, Mick. I don't know what's up with the dude. I know that he still goes to events because I talked to, oh man, I'm drawing a blank for names. He still goes to like the Butler Conference and stuff like that. I know that for a fact because I've asked the people that are there. And when I call, either his voicemail is full, and if he does answer, he's kind of short. In all honesty, and I'm going to tell y'all my feelings on it. I think he's mad at me because I used to help him organize the Creature Weekend events up at Salt Fork State Park. So I helped him do, the first Creature Weekend all the way up to, I don't know. I don't even remember when I stopped. 2015 or 2016, I guess, something like that. And I think when I stopped helping him with that, I think it really bothered him. So, I don't know if he thought I got, I don't know, upset with him or something, but I mean, I just told him I was done, back 8 years ago. I had kind of made a decision 8 years ago that I was completely done. And a lot of it had to do with, I refocused my life, refocused my life back into, worshiping God. And so I had a lot of rearranging to do basically in my life, and it had nothing to do with Bruce. But I think he took offense to that, and he just doesn't really want to talk. So, if I do get a hold of him, we might talk for 15, 20 minutes, and, that's about it. I've asked him if he would come on the show, and his answer to me always is, ain't nobody wants to hear me. And I'm like, well, that's not true. I told him, I said, because Mick and several others have asked if you'd come on the show. I said, so they must want to hear you. But he just blows it off, and he's like, no, they're just saying that. And, he always makes an excuse. So I don't know. I don't know if I did something, if I made him angry when I left, whatever. The last event that we did together was the first annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference that we held in Hungry Mother State Park in Marion, Virginia. And that was the last time we saw each other face to face. And he knew that was my last event because I had announced it. That was that event where we had Larry Batson and Bill Dringennis when he was still with us. Matter of fact, that was Bill Dringennis' last event he did. I think we had Russell Easterbrooks. We had, who else did we have? We had quite a few. And it was a good showing for the first conference in Virginia. But that's the last time I saw Bruce face to face. One of these days I'm gonna make a surprise visit at one of these events and sneak up on him, because he's not gonna be expecting it. So yeah, Creature Weekend was fun actually. We had a lot of fun creating that every year. I loved it. But like I say, things have gotten so out of whack in my life and everything, I just had to let all that stuff go, because it was, I'll be honest, it was getting to my head. And as you all know, there's a lot of friendly characters in this. I use that word loosely. So, yeah, don't have good people like what I'm talking to here on the YouTube. Just very few. Let's see. Yeah, that's when I stopped the show. Yep. Yeah, I'd like to see Bruce again too. I mean, the dude's funny. But the funny thing is we used to get, y'all might find this surprising, but we used to get emails from people when we were doing Blog Talk. I used to get emails saying that people thought that Bruce took it too far, like, everything can't be a joke and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, guys, we're just having fun. It can't be serious all the time. You got to have a little fun. So, yeah, you can't please everybody, right? That's pretty much the way it is. You can't please everybody. But I always enjoyed it. So David said, I just started taking note of some of the more interesting encounter interviewees I'm coming across to recommend. Should I steer clear of all recommending people like Barb Shute and Tom Cantrell? David, I'm going to answer that the best I can. It's a learning experience. I've had, in the past, I had some run-ins, not with Barb Shute, but I had associate with. And I don't know if y'all have noticed or not, but I try to keep my associations kind of light on the paranormal side too, because some of those subjects touch areas that blood animals, so I just don't look at it as some others do. I think they have some amazing abilities, which all of us would have amazing abilities if we lived out in the wild, for sure. I don't want to sound like I'm not giving you the advice how they treat other people. Pay attention, to what they say. Be careful, because if you disagree with them, then you're going to really get it. Get a lot of words. So that's really the only advice I can give you, David. Like I say, as you know, some people will probably talk about it more than I will, but all I can tell you is I don't recall ever talking to Barb, but I have talked with Tom Cantrell, and him and I don't see eye to eye, so that's about as far as I'll take that. Let's see. Yep, me too, Mick. Me too. All right, guys. I bored y'all long enough. I appreciate, though, y'all making this active and chatting with me. Makes my day a little funner. So, yep, it is some good days to get some steps. I've already mowed the grass. I ain't gonna worry about that. And, yep. So, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you all Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll have Alyssa Blackaroos from Ohio on the show. And until then, y'all try to have a good rest of what's left of this weekend. So, see y'all later.